I poured my heart into my grandchildren, giving them my time, my love, and my home. Only to discover my pension, my lifeline, being stolen by the daughter-in-law who smiled to my face while plotting behind my back. She thought I was just a doting grandmother, too trusting to notice, but she didn't know I'd turn her deceit into a trap that would set me free. My name is Dorothy Miller, and this is the story of how I fought for my future with hidden cameras and a heart that refused to break. Welcome to Breed, where we share gripping tales of betrayal and triumph that will leave you inspired. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to join our community and never miss a story like mine. Now, let's step into the sun-baked streets of my world. The 70s. I was a widowed retired nurse living in a modest suburban home in Phoenix, Arizona, where the desert sun blazed and cacti lined the streets like silent sentinels. My cozy house, with its photo-covered walls and cactus garden, was my sanctuary, filled with memories of my late husband, Frank, and our son, Michael. As a nurse for 40 years, I'd mended broken bodies and soothed broken spirits. And now my days revolved around my grandchildren, Emma and Liam, whose laughter brought light to my quiet life. My home wasn't fancy, but it was paid off, bought with Frank's savings and my careful budgeting after his heart attack 12 years ago. My pension, modest but steady, was my security, earned through decades of night shifts and sacrifice. Michael was my pride, the boy I'd raised alone after Frank's passing. I'd skipped new clothes and vacations to fund his college. Then his construction management certification, cheering when he built a career in Phoenix. Now 42, he was dependable, with Frank's steady hands and a warm smile that won clients. But his marriage to Nicole Evans, a 38-year-old part-time event planner, changed the air between us. Nicole was polished, high heels, flawless makeup, a social media feed dripping with curated perfection. She swept into our family 5 years ago, charming at first, but her demands grew sharper with time. "Dorothy, we need you to babysit Emma and Liam," she'd say, her smile tight. "It's family duty, you know." I loved caring for Emma, 7, and Liam, 4, baking cookies with them, reading bedtime stories, teaching them to tend my cacti. But Nicole's requests became daily, her tone less asking than expecting. "You're retired, Dorothy," she said once, flipping her hair. "You've got time. And we're so busy." Michael nodded along, his voice soft. "Mom, it helps us out. The kids love you." I agreed, trusting Michael's heart, though Nicole's insistence left me drained. My evenings, once spent knitting or chatting with neighbors, vanished into childcare, my pension checks barely covering my bills after groceries for the kids. Nicole's comments grew bolder. "This house is too big for you, Dorothy," she said one afternoon, standing in my kitchen as Emma colored nearby. "You should move to a condo, something easier. We could use the space for the kids." Her words stung, but I brushed them off, chalking it up to her stress. Michael's construction firm was thriving, wasn't it? Why would they need my home? But doubts crept in, like shadows under Phoenix's blazing sun. Michael's visits were rushed, his eyes avoiding mine when Nicole spoke. "Mom, everything's fine," he'd say, but his voice lacked conviction. The first crack in my trust came a week later, as I sorted mail at my desk, a habit from my nursing days of keeping records straight. A bank statement caught my eye. Tucked under bills, my pension account showing a $5,000 withdrawal I hadn't made. My heart skipped like it did when I'd monitored critical patients. I logged into my online banking, my hands trembling, and found another $2,000 gone, labeled miscellaneous transfer. I hadn't authorized these. My pension was for utilities, groceries, maybe a treat for Emma and Liam. Michael had access to the account, a leftover from when I'd helped with his mortgage years ago, but he'd never touched it. Had he now? Or was it Nicole? I called Michael, my voice calm but firm. "Michael, there's money missing from my account. Did you need it for something?" He hesitated, a pause too long. "Mom, I'm sure it's a mistake. Nicole handles our finances now. I'll check." His tone was off, like a patient hiding symptoms. When I pressed, he added, "You've been forgetful lately, Mom. Maybe you spent it." Forgetful? I'd misplaced my glasses once. Left a kettle on briefly, hardly a crisis. But his words echoed Nicole's hints about my age, and I wondered if they were building a story I didn't see. That evening, I visited Nicole's Instagram. Her posts a parade of luxury, designer bags, spa days, a new SUV parked at their condo. My pension couldn't fund that, could it? But the timing of her splurges matched my withdrawals. I thought of Frank, his quiet pride in our frugal life, his faith in Michael. Had I missed a flaw in our son, or was Nicole the snake in our garden? I wanted to confront them, to demand answers. But my nurse's instinct held me back. I diagnosed patients by observing, not accusing, and I'd do the same now. The bank statement was a clue, but I needed proof. As I tucked Emma and Liam into bed that night, their giggles a fleeting joy, I noticed Nicole's purse on my counter, left after she'd dropped them off. A checkbook peeked out. My bank's logo faint but clear. My pulse raced, but I left it untouched, my ethics stronger than my anger. I kissed the kids goodnight, their trust in me a reminder of why I'd fight. Nicole thought I was a pushover, Michael too weak to stop her, but they didn't know Dorothy Miller. I'd saved lives in the ER, raised Michael alone, kept my home through grief. Tomorrow, I'd find answers, maybe a neighbor's advice, maybe a bank visit. As Phoenix's desert stars burned above, I vowed, "You've taken enough, Nicole. This grandmother's watching now." The Phoenix sun blazed through my kitchen window, its heat a pale shadow of the anger simmering inside me. Nicole's checkbook, left in my home with my bank's logo, and the $7,000 missing from my pension account were like warning bells, loud and insistent. My daughter-in-law had smiled while pressuring me to babysit Emma and Liam, her demands stealing my time as surely as someone was stealing my money. Michael, my son, had dismissed my concerns, hinting I was forgetful. A lie that stung worse than the withdrawals. I was Dorothy Miller, a nurse who'd spent decades spotting symptoms others missed, and I wouldn't let my life savings vanish without a fight. As I stood in my cozy Phoenix home, the cactus garden outside swaying in the desert breeze, I vowed to uncover the truth, no matter how much it broke my heart. My days were consumed by babysitting, but my nights became a quest for answers. I checked my bank account again, my hands steady despite the dread. 2 more withdrawals appeared, $5,000 and $3,000, bringing the total to $15,000. The transactions were labeled family expenses, but I'd spent nothing beyond groceries and bills. Michael had access to the account, a relic from when I'd helped with his mortgage. But Nicole's lavish Instagram posts haunted me. Her latest showed a designer handbag captioned "Treating myself," timestamped days after the $5,000 withdrawal. Another post flaunted a spa retreat, the cost easily matching the $3,000. My pension, earned through years of aching feet and sleepless shifts, was funding her vanity, and Michael's silence made him complicit. I needed advice. Someone I could trust. Ray Carter, my neighbor and a retired cop, was the first person who came to mind. Ray had been a patient of mine years ago, recovering from a gunshot wound. And we bonded over coffee and stories. I invited him over, the kids napping in my guest room. "Ray," I said, showing him the bank statements, "someone's taking my money. I think it's Nicole. But Michael's dodging me." Ray's gray eyes narrowed, his cop instincts kicking in. "Dorothy, this looks like theft. You need proof of hard evidence, not suspicions. Ever thought about hidden cameras? They're cheap, legal in your own home, and they don't lie." Cameras? The idea felt invasive, but so did Nicole's hands in my finances. "I've never used tech like that," I admitted. Ray grinned. "You learned ventilators in the ER. You can handle a nanny cam." Ray drove me to an electronics store, the Phoenix heat shimmering off the pavement. We bought 3 small cameras, disguised as a clock, a picture frame, and a charging dock, for $200. Back home, I set them up with Ray's help, one in my living room, one in my study where I kept my desk, and one in the kitchen. "They record to a cloud app," Ray explained, showing me the phone interface. "Check the footage daily. And don't tell anyone, not even Michael." I nodded, my nurse's precision guiding me. I'd monitored heart rates under pressure, now I'd monitor my home. The cameras hummed silently, and life went on. Nicole dropped off Emma and Liam daily, her smile as bright as her new jewelry. "Dorothy, you're a lifesaver," she said, but her eyes lingered on my desk, my checkbook visible. I smiled back, my heart pounding, and busied myself with the kids, baking cookies, reading stories. But each night I checked the footage, my breath held. For days, nothing, Nicole chatting on her phone. Michael picking up the kids, normal moments that almost eased my fears. Then on Thursday I saw it. The study camera caught Nicole alone while I was in the backyard with Liam. Rifling through my desk, she pulled out a pension check, slipped it into her purse, and left, her face calm as if she'd done it 100 times. My stomach churned, the betrayal raw. She wasn't just taking money, she was stealing my future. I saved the clip, my hands shaking, and called Ray. "You've got her, Dorothy," he said, his voice grim. "That's theft clear as day. Get more footage, build a pattern, then take it to a lawyer." A lawyer? The thought daunted me, but Ray's confidence steadied my resolve. I kept the cameras rolling, capturing Nicole twice more, once forging my signature on a check, her pen moving with practiced ease, and once pocketing a bank card I'd left out, testing my trap. Each clip was a wound, but also a weapon, proof I wasn't forgetful but targeted. The family barbecue that weekend, hosted at Michael and Nicole's upscale condo, was my chance to observe them. Their home gleamed, new marble counters, a chandelier, luxuries my pension couldn't dream of funding. Relatives praised their success, but I saw Michael's tense jaw, Nicole's forced laugh. She pulled me aside, her voice loud for others to hear. "Dorothy, you're so forgetful these days," she said, patting my arm. "You left your checkbook out again. Good thing I'm here to help." "Help?" Her lie stung, relatives murmuring sympathy, some whispering about my age. Michael stood silent, his eyes on the floor, and I felt the weight of his betrayal. "I'm fine, Nicole," I said, my voice weak, playing along, my phone recording in my pocket. Later, I confronted Michael privately, my voice low. "Michael, $15,000 is gone from my account. Did you take it? Is Nicole?" His face flushed, but he deflected. "Mom, you're imagining things. Nicole's handling our bills, she's good with money. Trust us. Trust us." The words echoed like a bad diagnosis, false and dangerous. I wanted to show him the footage, to shake him awake, but Ray's warning held me back. Evidence first, confrontation later. I left the barbecue, Emma's hug a fleeting warmth, my resolve hardening. Back home, I reviewed the latest footage, my heart sinking. Nicole had returned while I was at the barbecue, using a spare key to enter my study. She took another check, muttering, "This'll cover the catering." Catering? For what? An event? A party? Her ego? I saved the clip, my anger now afire. Nicole thought I was a frail grandmother. Michael too spineless to stop her. But they didn't know Dorothy Miller. I'd saved lives under pressure, raised Michael through grief, kept my home through loss. Tomorrow I'd find a lawyer. Tomorrow I'd plan my trap. As Phoenix's desert breeze rustled my cacti, I vowed, "You've stolen enough, Nicole. These cameras see everything, and so will the world." The desert heat of Phoenix pressed against my windows, a relentless force that mirrored the fire of betrayal burning within me. Nicole's hands, caught on my hidden cameras, had stolen pension checks and forged my signature with a thief's ease, siphoning $15,000 from my account to fund her lavish life. Michael, my son, had dismissed my fears, his silence a wound deeper than Nicole's deceit. The footage, saved on my phone, was proof I wasn't the forgetful grandmother they painted, but a woman wronged. I was Dorothy Miller, a nurse who'd spent decades reading symptoms in patients' eyes. And now I'd read the truth in theirs. As I stood in my cozy home, my cactus garden swaying under the Arizona sun, I vowed to build an ironclad case, not with tears, but with the precision of a woman who'd saved lives and would now save her own. Ray, my neighbor and retired cop, had been my anchor, his suggestion of hidden cameras giving me power I hadn't known I needed. Each night, I reviewed new footage, my heart pounding as Nicole's crimes piled up. She'd returned twice more, once slipping a bank card into her purse, another time photographing my checkbook, her phone's flash glinting in the dark. The cameras, a clock, a picture frame, a charging dock, were my silent allies, their lenses catching what Michael refused to see. But I needed more, a pattern strong enough to stand in court. Ray urged patience. "Dorothy," he said over coffee, his voice gruff, "you've got theft on tape, but forgery's the knockout. Keep recording and get a lawyer who eats fraud for breakfast." Finding a lawyer felt daunting, but Ray recommended Sarah Lopez, a former colleague who'd prosecuted financial crimes. I met Sarah at her office, a sleek space with desert art and a no-nonsense air. "Mrs. Miller," she said, her pen poised, "show me what you've got." I played the footage, Nicole stealing checks, forging my name, muttering about catering bills. I showed bank statements, $15,000 gone, and Nicole's Instagram, her designer splurges timed with my losses. Sarah's eyes hardened. "This is textbook fraud," she said. "Nicole's forging your signature. And Michael's complicity, his access to the account, makes him liable. We can file for theft, fraud, and a restraining order to keep Nicole away." But we need a stronger pattern. And we need to protect your remaining assets. Protect how? I asked, my voice steady despite the ache. Sarah leaned forward. Your pension's direct deposited, right? We'll reroute it to a new account Nicole can't touch. Your home's paid off, so it's safe, but we'll draft a trust to lock it down. And keep those cameras rolling, catch her intent, her planning. If Michael's involved, we'll need proof of that too. A trust. The idea sparked hope, a shield for my future. My home, with its photo-covered walls and Frank's memory, was my rock. If I could secure it, I could face anything. What about confronting them? I asked. Sarah's smile was sharp. Not yet. Play along, act trusting until we're ready to strike. Can you do that? I thought of Nicole's smug smile, Michael's evasive eyes. I can, I said, my resolve steel. I'd nurse patience through crises, raised Michael through grief. And I'd play the doting grandmother while building my case. Sarah drafted a plan. Reroute my pension, set up a trust, gather more footage, and confront them at a family dinner in a week. Where Nicole was sure to push again. Ray helped me adjust the cameras, adding one in my hallway for wider coverage, and I opened a new bank account, my pension safe by the next deposit. But Nicole escalated first. At Emma and Liam's birthday party, held at my house, she cornered me in the kitchen, balloons bobbing behind her. Dorothy, we need to talk about your pension, she said. Her voice low but commanding. It's too much for you to manage. Sign it over to us for the kids' future. She slid a form across the counter, a power of attorney dressed up as a family plan. My pulse raced, but I clutched my phone, recording in my apron pocket. I'll think about it, I said, my voice shaky, eyes wide like a confused old woman. Nicole's lips curled. Don't wait too long. Dorothy, we're doing this for you. Michael hovered nearby, his silence louder than her words, and I felt the weight of his betrayal. I retreated to the backyard, where Emma and Liam chased Bubbles. Their laughter a fleeting joy. The camera in my study caught Nicole later, rifling through my desk again, muttering, she'll sign, or I'll do it myself. Her boldness chilled me. But it was gold, proof of intent, coercion, fraud. I saved the clip, my hands trembling, and emailed it to Sarah. This is dynamite, Sarah replied. We've got enough for charges. But let's hit them at the dinner. One more push from Nicole, and they're done. Ray dug deeper. His cop contacts revealing Nicole's event planning business was crumbling. Clients unpaid. Vendor suing, debts piling up. She's desperate, Dorothy, he said. Your pension's her lifeline, and Michael's too weak to stop her. His firm's struggling, $2.80,000 in loans. My heart sank. Michael wasn't just complicit, he was drowning too, using my money to stay afloat. I thought of Frank, his pride in Michael's ambition, his trust in our son. I'm sorry, Frank, I whispered. Alone in my garden. The pain was raw, but it fueled me. I wasn't just fighting for my pension, I was fighting for my dignity, my legacy. Sarah called with more news. I've traced the stolen $15,000. She said, it's gone catering, jewelry, a down payment on their condo upgrades. But we can sue for restitution, and the footage makes criminal charges stick. Restitution was unlikely. But the restraining order would keep Nicole away, and that was enough. I prepared for the dinner, hosted at my house, where Nicole planned to finalize the pension transfer. I'd let them think I'd sign, then spring the trap. Ray would be there, a quiet ally, and Sarah would file charges the next day. That night, I walked my garden, the cacti glowing under the moon. Emma's drawing, taped to my fridge, showed us together, her trust in me a reminder of why I fought. Nicole thought she'd outsmarted a frail grandmother, Michael too spineless to resist. But they didn't know Dorothy Miller. I'd faced down our chaos. Rebuilt after Frank's death. Loved my grandchildren fiercely. Tomorrow, I'd meet Sarah to finalize the trust. Tomorrow, I'd record Nicole's final push. As Phoenix's stars burned above, I promised, you've underestimated me, Nicole. These cameras see your lies, and soon everyone will. The Phoenix sunset painted my cozy home in hues of orange and pink, a serene backdrop to the storm I was about to unleash. My hidden cameras had captured Nicole's brazen theft, pension checks stolen, my signature forged, $15,000 siphoned to fund her crumbling dreams. Michael, my son, had stood by. His silence a betrayal that cut deeper than her greed. With Sarah, my lawyer, and Ray, my neighbor, I'd built a fortress of evidence. Footage, bank statements, and a trust securing my home and pension. Tonight's family dinner, hosted in my living room, was Nicole's stage to push for control of my finances, but I'd scripted a different ending. I was Dorothy Miller, a nurse who'd faced life and death crises with steady hands, and tonight I'd face my family with a steady heart. As I set the table, my USB drive heavy in my pocket, I wasn't just exposing their lies, I was reclaiming my life. The past week had been a masterclass in strategy. Sarah had rerouted my pension to a new account, safe from Nicole's grasp, and drafted a trust locking down my home, its cactus garden and Frank's memories untouchable. My remaining savings, bolstered by careful budgeting, were secure. The cameras, disguised as a clock, picture frame, charging dock, and hallway light, had caught Nicole's latest move, photographing my bank statements, muttering about a big event to salvage her failing business. Ray had synced the footage to my laptop, ready for tonight's reveal. Sarah had prepared legal documents, including a restraining order against Nicole, to be filed tomorrow, and charges for theft and fraud were drafted. "You've got them cold, Dorothy," Sarah said, her voice fierce. "This dinner's your moment." The dining room buzzed as family arrived, Michael's sister, Linda, her husband, and my cousin, Ruth, all unaware of the truth. Nicole swept in, her designer dress a stark contrast to her strained smile, Emma and Liam trailing her. Michael followed, his eyes avoiding mine, guilt etched in his posture. "Dorothy, everything looks lovely," Nicole said, her voice syrupy, but her glance at my desk betrayed her intent. I smiled, playing the doting grandmother, my phone recording in my apron pocket. Emma hugged me, whispering, "I love your cookies, Grandma," and my resolve hardened. This was for her, for Liam. For the future Nicole tried to steal. Dinner began, the clink of forks masking the tension. Nicole steered the conversation, her voice loud. "Dorothy, we've been thinking about your pension," she said, passing the potatoes. "It's too much for you to handle alone. We should manage it, for Emma and Liam's future." She slid a power of attorney form across the table, its legal jargon a trap. Michael nodded weakly. "Mom, it's the smart thing," he mumbled. My heart ached, but I clutched my USB drive, my voice frail. "I'll look it over," I said, eyes wide as if overwhelmed. Nicole's smile sharpened. "Don't wait, Dorothy. We're family." I stood, gesturing to the living room. "Let's talk there," I said, my tone soft but deliberate. They followed, puzzled, as Ray set up my laptop, its screen linked to a TV. "Before I sign," I said, addressing the family, "I have something to show you." I plugged in the USB drive, my hands steady, and played the footage. Nicole appeared, rifling through my desk, stealing a check, her voice clear, "This'll cover the catering." Another clip showed her forging my signature. A third capturing her photographing my bank statements. Gasps rose as I displayed bank records, $15,000 gone, timed with Nicole's Instagram splurges, handbags, spa trips, condo upgrades. The room froze, forks clattering. Nicole's face drained of color. "That's fake," she shrieked, lunging for the laptop. Ray blocked her, his cop stance firm. Michael's voice cracked. "Mom, what's this?" I turned to him, my voice raw but strong. "This is your wife stealing my pension, Michael. You had access to my account, stood by while she took $15,000, and let her call me forgetful to cover it. I'm not forgetful, I'm betrayed." I played her latest mutter, "She'll sign or I'll do it myself." Linda's hand flew to her mouth, Ruth's eyes widened. And Emma, peering from the doorway, looked confused. Sarah stepped forward, her legal folder glinting. "As Dorothy's attorney, I confirm this evidence supports charges for theft, fraud, and coercion," she said. "We've filed a restraining order against Nicole, effective tomorrow, and criminal charges are pending." The family erupted, Linda glaring at Michael, Ruth whispering, "How could you?" Nicole's voice rose, shrill. "Dorothy's senile. She set me up, but I held up the trust documents, my home and pension secure." "I'm not senile," I said, staring at Nicole. "I'm the woman who raised Michael, who nursed patients through crises, who loved Emma and Liam enough to fight for them. You thought you could steal my future, but these cameras saw everything." Michael stood, his face crumpling. "Mom, I didn't know. I trusted Nicole. His lie stung, his account access undeniable. You knew enough to stay silent," I said, tears burning but unshed. "You chose her over me, Michael." Nicole shoved him, her composure gone. "This is your fault, Michael. You let her trap us." Her scream echoed as sirens wailed outside, red and blue lights flashing through the windows. 2 officers entered, badges shining. "Nicole Evans, Michael Miller, you're under arrest for theft and fraud," one said. Nicole's scream pierced the air, her wrists cuffed, mascara streaking. "You can't do this, Dorothy." Michael's eyes met mine, pleading. "Mom, I'm sorry. Don't let them take me." His words tore at me. The boy I'd rocked to sleep crying out, but the man who'd betrayed me stood in his place. "You broke my trust, Michael," I said, my voice steady. "This is your consequence." The officers led them out. Nicole's curses fading, Michael's head bowed. Emma clung to Linda, her eyes wide, and I knelt, whispering, "Grandma's here, sweetheart." Sarah touched my shoulder. "You did it, Dorothy." I nodded. My throat tight, the family's eyes on me, some shocked, others awed. Ray hugged me, his voice gruff. "Proud of you, Dorothy." I smiled faintly, exhausted but unbroken. The dinner was their trap, but I turned it into my triumph, exposing their greed to those they'd fooled. Michael's plea, "I'm sorry," lingered, but it was too late. He'd chosen Nicole's ambition over my love, and I'd chosen truth over pain. My pension was secure, my home protected, and the restraining order would keep Nicole away. As Phoenix's desert breeze brushed my face, I felt free. The nurse who diagnosed her own betrayal and prescribed justice. The dinner was over, but my story was far from finished. The Phoenix night enveloped my home as I stood in the doorway. The chaos of the family dinner fading like a bad dream. I'd faced Michael and Nicole in my living room, their greed exposed by hidden camera footage that captured her stealing my pension checks and forging my signature. With Sarah's legal precision and Ray's steady support, I'd unveiled their $15,000 theft before family, securing a restraining order and shattering their facade. As I watched the police lead them away, Michael's plea, "Mom, I'm sorry," echoed, but it couldn't undo his betrayal. I was Dorothy Miller, a nurse who'd mended broken bodies and now mended my own broken trust. As the desert breeze stirred my cactus garden, I felt a quiet strength, ready to rebuild a life free from their lies. 2 months later, I sat on my porch, the Arizona sun warming my face, my home still mine, its photo-covered walls a testament to a life hard won. Sarah's trust had locked down my property, and my pension, now safe in a new account, flowed steadily again. A lawsuit filed with the camera footage and bank records recovered $10,000 of the stolen $15,000, the rest lost to Nicole's extravagance, but I didn't dwell on it. My savings, bolstered by frugal habits honed in the ER, gave me security. I'd bought a new rocking chair for the porch, planted a saguaro cactus for Emma and Liam, and hung Frank's old stethoscope by my desk, a reminder of my resilience. The cameras were gone. Their work done, but their truth had set me free. Michael's trial was swift, the evidence overwhelming. He received a year of probation for aiding theft, his construction firm collapsing under debt and distrust. Nicole faced 6 months in jail for fraud and forgery, her event planning business dead, her social media accounts silent after sponsors fled. A Phoenix News clip, caught on the radio one morning, painted their fall. Michael, jobless, renting a studio apartment. Nicole, released early, living with distant relatives, her charm worthless. I waited for guilt, the grandmother's instinct to shield my son, but it didn't come. Michael had chosen Nicole's ambition over me, and I'd chosen my worth over his excuses. I found joy in small moments, baking with Emma and Liam when Linda, Michael's sister, brought them over. The restraining order kept Nicole away, and Michael's visits were supervised, his presence a shadow of the son I'd raised. "Grandma, tell us about Grandpa Frank," Emma asked one afternoon, her crayons scattered. I smiled, sharing stories of Frank's laughter, his steady hands in the ER, my voice steady despite the ache for Michael. Linda became a lifeline, her apology heartfelt. "I should have seen it, Dorothy," she said, tears in her eyes. I hugged her, forgiving her blindness, knowing love could blind anyone. I'd been blind, too. Ray stopped by often, his gruff humor a comfort. "You outsmarted a thief, Dorothy," he said, sipping lemonade on my porch. "Not bad for a nurse." I laughed, grateful for his guidance, his cameras my salvation. Sarah, too, became a friend, her legal mind now a warm presence at community events. My cousin Ruth sent flowers, her note praising my courage, and even my bank manager, alerted by Sarah, apologized for missing the fraud. My new family wasn't just blood, it was built on respect, a bond stronger than Nicole's lies. One evening I visited Frank's grave, a quiet plot under a mesquite tree, its branches swaying in the desert wind. "I did it, Frank," I whispered, my hand on the stone. "I saved our legacy, but Michael's lost." Tears fell, but they were healing, not heavy. I'd given Michael everything: college, a home, my trust, but I couldn't give him integrity. I forgave myself for his choices, for the years I'd blamed myself for his drift. As I left, a star broke through the dusk and I felt Frank's presence, his stethoscope's weight in my heart, telling me I was enough. A letter came from Michael, his handwriting shaky. "Mom, I'm sorry," he wrote. "Nicole controlled me, but I let her. Can we start over?" I read it thrice, my heart torn. The grandmother in me wanted to embrace him, but the woman I'd become knew trust was earned, not given. I replied, brief but firm, "Michael, I forgive you, but words aren't enough. Show me you've changed." I mailed it, my hands steady, boundaries set like a nurse's charted plan. Nicole's voicemail, left days later, was deleted unheard, her voice a ghost I'd banished. The lesson of my story isn't just about catching thieves or winning battles, it's about guarding your trust as fiercely as your treasure. I loved Michael, and Nicole opened my home and heart, but I learned that love doesn't mean blindness. Your money, your time, your truth, they're yours to protect, even from family. If someone's draining your light, let my cameras be your lens. See clearly, act boldly, and hold your worth tight. Don't let love lull you into losing yourself. Stay vigilant, because you're stronger than you know. If this story touched you, join us at Breed for more tales of courage and redemption. We share powerful stories every day, and we'd love you in our community. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and let's keep these stories alive. Thank you for listening, and now let me leave you with this. As I stood at a community center event, kids crowding around for a health talk I'd volunteered to give, I thought of Michael one last time. Not with anger, but with release. He tried to let Nicole steal my future, but he'd given me a chance to rediscover my strength, to build a family with Linda, Ray, and Sarah, to leave a mark through Emma and Liam's laughter. I held up a toy stethoscope, showing a child how it worked, and read Frank's favorite quote taped inside, "In care, we rise." The kids cheered, thinking it was for them, and I smiled, knowing it was for me. The nurse who'd seen through lies, the widow who'd survived loss, the grandmother who'd fought for her freedom. She was here, stronger than ever. As Phoenix's desert sun sank, casting shadows over my cacti, I knew I was home.